My grandfather Clark spent an awful lot of time in the Netherlands, and he shares a powerful story about a fishing village, a small fishing village where everyone who lived there was involved in the fishing industry. They were either fishermen or boat builders or sail repair persons. Everyone in that entire community was involved in the sailing and fishing industry, which required that they also have a volunteer rescue rowboat team. Similar to our small towns in the United States of America, where we have a volunteer fire department, and whenever there's a fire, wherever the volunteers seem to be, a siren is sounded in the town, and the volunteer firemen show up, hop on the fire truck, and go to the emergency location. The same thing took place in this fishing village in the Netherlands. It was one brutal stormy night. The winds were thrashing and the waves were dashing and the town was under siege. And suddenly the siren went off, alerting all of the volunteer rescue rowboat team members to assemble at the beach. You see, one of their fishing vessels had been at sea for quite some time, and they got a distressed SOS signal that they needed to be rescued. They needed help. The captain of the rescue rowboat team assembled his volunteer team members on the beach. He was at the tower, and all of the family members gathered on the shore with their lanterns lit in that foggy, stormy, rainy night to somehow do their best to safely guide their loved ones back to shore. The rescue rowboat team was given directions and encouragement, and they picked up that rescue rowboat and they fought their way through the crashing waves and disappeared into the foggy, stormy night. An hour later, the siren sounded again as the captain at the top of the tower saw the returning rescue rowboat team. The family members excitedly stood and started waving their lanterns, again doing their best to safely guide their loved ones back to shore. And as soon as that rescue rowboat team hit the beach, as you can imagine, the rescue rowboat team members fell face first on the sand, not just physically exhausted, but emotionally drained, drip dry. They could hardly lift their arms above their legs. When the captain of the rescue rowboat team asked for the report, the person in charge on this boat reported that, yes, they found the distressed vessel, but he had to make an executive decision out at sea. Had they brought one more passenger aboard the rescue rowboat would have also capsized and everyone would have been lost at sea. So he decided to leave one young man, one strong sailor, still at sea. Frantically, the captain of the rescue rowboat team asked for the second tier, another volunteer team to assemble and immediately go after that lone survivor. And wouldn't you know it, young, mature, 16-year-old Hans steps forward and raises his hand as a volunteer. His mother grabs his arm, holds down his elbow and says, "Hans, you are all I have left. Your father died in a fishing accident a few years ago at sea, and your older brother has been missing at sea for 2 weeks. You're all I have left. Please don't go." Hans, in his maturity, says, "Mother, I understand. But when your call comes, you must respond. Everybody must take their turn when you have a turn to take." And reluctantly, his mother let go of his arm, and he joined that second rescue rowboat team who picked up their boat, and they too disappeared into that foggy, stormy ocean. An hour later, which seemed like an eternity, the captain of the rescue rowboat team saw them returning and sounded that siren. The loved ones again stood and waved their lanterns to safely guide this rescue rowboat back safely to shore. And just as the bow of that rescue rowboat pierced its way through the fog and pierced its way through the ocean waves, You could see young 16-year-old Hans standing up in front. And the rescue rowboat captain yells from the tower, "Hans, were you able to find the lone survivor?" Hans cups his hands and yells back, "Yes, we found him. And tell my mother it's my older brother, Peter."